Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The Leafs go camping in day one. Lots of tidbits, lots of news. We will be answering viewer questions across all of the networks. This is not an official podcast for Offside. No, just a little sneak peek treat of what's going on. Shout out to everybody who's over on TikTok. Love every single one of you. I'll make sure that I swipe back and look at the questions that are going through. Dylan, Leafs open camp. What is your first feeling of the day with the Toronto Maple Leafs?
I am pumped and amped. I'm ready for this brand new season. I was watching the player media on YouTube earlier today. Obviously, a lot of them are kind of focused on, what do they expect from this year and how they feel about the roster. Looks like Johnny's feeling great about the roster and the new additions. Obviously, every year comes, losing a couple teammates, but that's the business. So I'm excited to see what the rest of the week holds. And what are your first initial thoughts here on day one?
All right, so there's a lot of thoughts that I have here about the Maple Leafs and camp because I was excited to see this stuff so much so that I took take good care of Yarncrook in Toronto. Shout out to Preds fan. Hey guys, we are live across all the networks. So shout out to Div who's watching, everyone who's watching. This is just a fun show. If you're over on TikTok, pump the likes. If you're over on one of the other streams, I see you in there. Make sure you drop questions. But for me, I got excited about talking about Kyle Dubas coming to the podium and saying he knows he has no contract in his pocket. He knew this was going to be the situation, still made the moves for Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov and everything that he did, knowing what this situation could be for himself. And basically, let's just put it frankly, guys, everywhere here. Sorry to say it like this, but he put his nuts on the line.
Yep.
This is what he wants. This is what it's going to be. So it's going to be interesting. But one tidbit I'll take away, and this is going to get some people riled up over on TikTok, is John Tavares. You know I love him. I love Johnny T. Was at the rink an hour and a half before things kicked off, just working on the ice, doing different things, getting pumped up, and really getting things rolling for himself for camp. That is freaking amazing, guys. And this just shows the dedication he has, how he's feeling opposed to how he was feeling last year. Definitely, Div, you're right. There is no Johnny T disrespect, will not be tolerated. But yeah, really pumped up with the fact that the Leafs roll into camp, do this, and Johnny Tavares is on the ice, setting the tone early and often. What do you think of Johnny T basically getting out there and showing everybody, hey, I may be one of the veteran leaders, but I am the damn leader and the damn captain for a reason.
He's taken the role seriously, and he has been a true leader since the day he was named captain in Long Island. With everybody focused here in Toronto on Matthews, I think Johnny T has taken this role on all to a whole new level. Honestly, I know that eventually the torch will be passed on to Matthews, but Johnny's here for a reason, to teach these young guys how to approach the game in all scenarios on and off the ice. And he's here to pump up that squad when appropriate. He's leading by example, and I know that there's a lot of other veteran presence players on this team that do the exact same thing. But Johnny's Johnny Toronto for a reason. He was born and raised here, and this is his hometown team. He's fired up and he wants to win here. So
No, I definitely agree with you. And you know what? Him doing what he did today, I think there was another really contrite but really good answer by Austin Matthews today about the contract situation. Shout out to Jonathan Wiper over on TikTok for making this comment. And I agree. The way he answered it was very eloquent. Basically, and people will say, well, players will say whatever they want to say or whatever they need to say to stay in, the positive light with the fan base. But Austin Matthews saying that this is home, that he considers this home. This is where he's grown into his own skin and all of those good things, for Austin Matthews. I really don't see him wanting to go anywhere. But what I liked the most was he says, I'm going to talk about this once. I'm going
Yeah.
to answer this once. And then we're going to put it aside because there's 2 years left. And looking at what Andy Petrillo said today, too, I love what she said. Absolutely amazing about Austin Matthews. No other market was talking about this stuff. You didn't even hear this much of an uproar over Nathan McKinnon signing his new deal or getting towards his new deal in that final year. So Austin Matthews came out, addressed it, put it to bed, said, guys, this is it. I'll answer it once. I love it. I love being here. I love being a Maple Leaf. This is home to me. Perfect. How do you think Austin did that? How do you think he handled it?
Totally the proper way, man. The media here in Toronto can be horrible and can be good at times. But all the media noticed that Nathan McKinnon is now the highest paid NHL player in the league. No longer is it Austin Matthews or Connor McDavid. They hopped on the opportunity now because they know that they're gonna get the talks now. Matthews answered it completely and 100% professionally.
He did.
And, I guess all that media training didn't go to waste over the years. He took the heat and sizzled it out with ice water.
Oh, yeah. You put that flame, he doused that flame real quick.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe we could talk about it because now you're not going to ask him about it because he's
Exactly.
all you can say is no comment, or I've already answered it, so I'm not answering it.
Exactly. He's here to. I hope he's here to stay. I think he's here to stay. Him and Jay Bieber are quite close here in Toronto, so I don't see him leaving anytime soon. And the second Johnny T retires or moves on to another team, if he gets traded out of Toronto, the torch will be passed on to him. So I'm looking forward to seeing another. God, I hope another 15 years of Austin. Me and him can just grow old together and lose our hairline together. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Let's do it. I mean, mine's not going anywhere yet. It's pretty solid for 36. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I widow pick with the rest of you. Who knows? Another thing that really impressed me today is Mark Giordano. It's because the Leafs defense right now, with Liljegren out until mid-November, with the hernia, still showed up today, by the way, and did media day. Pure beaut. But he'll be out until mid-November. This opens the door for what are the Leafs going to do, doom and gloom. And he threw some cold water on it, veteran status. Said, at the end of last year, they actually talked to me about playing over there on that right side. No problem for me. I could switch it over and go play there. Not something that bothers me. He's like, if you look at the offense, he's like, there might be more of a chance for me over there to get some more points. So what a classy little move there, just knowing that fans were going to run with the narrative. The Leafs are pooched. They got to sign Sandin. Oh, my God, the doom and gloom situation. Giordano, man, says, hey, no, I can do either side. No problem by me. Let's just get rolling. Let's get the season going. That's why I think the Leafs love having Mark Giordano in the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. Gio came here for a reason, you see the trend of these Toronto guys wanting to come play for their home team, and he's taking the role seriously. He's not like, oh, poor me, I'm only a left-sided defenseman. He'll take the role. He'll take the reins and he'll run with it, just like Brody does. Him and Brody played in Calgary together, so that could be a line combination. It sucks that Liljegren's out, but I guess we did get Victor Mete and Jordy Ben for a reason. There are a couple of other guys that are at camp that could steal the show. So, who knows? Well, I guess we still
those are the storylines we're going to follow, right? We're going to get pumped up about these little things that'll shake out as they go. A lot of questions in the chat over here on TikTok about can we get Patrick Kane to the Leafs. Guys, if the Leafs are going after it, we talked about this with Justin Bourne and David Alter on the show. Go back and watch those episodes. Beautiful responses. But if the Leafs are going to go get him, or if any team really, I think it's a deadline move at this point because every team is really constricted by the cap. You'd have to get a triple retain. The Leafs don't really probably want to give up a lot of assets. They're more intact with draft picks this year. So we'll see what happens there. But the Patrick Kane situation to me is not one the Leafs are going to go down the road right now. If they were to make a deal, it probably would center around a first round pick, young player like a Rasmus Sandin or a Timothy Liljegren, probably a Matthew Nyes. Those guys would probably be players that you'd have to add to get Patrick Kane, which I don't think they're going to do. You know, we will get to everybody's questions, by the way, as well. I know there's a lot of them rolling through the TikTok chat. What do you think about the Patty Kane?
Just squash it. I don't think Patty Kane's coming to Toronto. He's either I see him either going to Buffalo or he's going to go to New York. If he goes to New York, I see that being the better option. I think him and Panarin have that connection there, and I could see, them wanting Lafreniere or Capo Caco or something like that in return. And the Rangers could obviously make an amazing run with him in the lineup. Then I could see him going to play for Buffalo or something like that. But I don't think he'll come to Toronto. Johnny here asked, do you think it's same question I asked earlier in our chat? Do you think Liljegren's injury helps Sandin get signed easier?
And I said this in our group chat today. Shout out to 6 and 6, by the way, the great crew. Go check out their TikTok page as well. No, it doesn't, because even with his injury and even with Pierre Engvall being out, you're maxing out at probably $3.5 million in cap space. If the Leafs jam every contract they can and get themselves up and over the overage there to use the LTIR relief, it doesn't matter, because if you're into that, those players have to come back. So then you force your hand to make a move, and then teams see you as a weak position to have to make a move to free up the cap space. So as great as it seems that you have this ability now with players going on the LTIR to sign Sandin, you have to have the foresight to realize you still have to bring everybody back into the fold.
Yep.
And if you right now, the Leafs are not pressed against it to make a move. They don't have to do anything.
No, they don't.
So dealing with a team to move a contract, whether it's Hall or Kerfoot or all these names that we juggle around, they're not backs against the wall. Oh, crap, the cap is closing in on us. No, they don't have to do that, because right now the LTIR relief, that may allow you to sign Zach Aston Reese to a $750K deal. That's great. That's great. That's what you need. But you're not signing Rasmus Sandin to a 1.9, 2.1 deal, and then having both those other players come back and being $4 million over the cap and trying to figure it out. Well, that doesn't work for you. It just doesn't work. And that's the foresight I think Kyle Dubas has, because everybody's like, oh, Liljegren's injured, Engvall's injured, get it done. Sign Sandin right now. It doesn't work like that, because you have to realize everybody's going to come back eventually, and that money's not going to be there. And then you're forced.
Even more or less now that Sandin sees that Liljegren is injured, he's going to take that opportunity to ask for more, even if the Leafs went and talked to him about it. He has full reins almost right now, because he's like, oh, you guys need a defenseman, then sure, open up your damn pockets and give me what I'm worth. So that's how I see it, at least. It sucks that Sandin, not that he doesn't want to play here, but it sucks that he won't take a little bit of a lesser deal, and that bridge deal, quote unquote. But yeah, I think Sandin is. I don't know if he's going to get signed for sure. So
no, I agree with you. Sandin will eventually get signed. The deal will get done. The moves will happen. It'll play through the way it's supposed to. The Leafs having depth in guys like Victor Mete and even Jordy Ben. I mean, those are insurance pieces that go sideways, but they're not going to be everyday guys. No. I really don't think so. Kevin asks, is Dubas on a leash?
That's what I was saying.
For me, this season, guys, no. Unless the season goes absolutely, completely sideways and the Leafs are completely out of her early and they need to figure it out quickly, you don't usually change your GM mid-season.
No.
Because it's hard to get a new guy in there, get him acclimated, and get him making moves. That's why interim guys who are already a part of the organization most times take over and do the bidding for the team for the rest of the year because they've been there. And then the new guy comes in the offseason. Could I see a coaching change if the Leafs are that bad? Yes. But even that's like, I think they're ride or die with this crew for the year, Kevin. I really do. I really do. People saying they can't wait till they don't have to hear.
I just wanted to, shout out Mr. Rice09. He's lipping us off in the comments. If
he's
you don't
gone.
if you don't like our content, get lost, buddy.
I'm still here if you don't want to answer since you got a question all the time.
Thoughts on Robert?
Oh, will you guys be able to sign Matthews? The salary cap is increasing in a couple of years. Yes, I do believe Ezio. Sorry, buddy. I didn't not avoiding your comment there, but yeah, the Leafs have made it so they can go ahead and make these moves in a couple of years. Because if you look at all the contracts, sans the Calle Yarncroke deal, everything is really like 1 or 2 years. So basically, all you need to do is, wait for that problem. No problem. Yeah, no worries. So anyways, Dylan distracted me, by the way. He dropped out and dropped in, so I had to get him back in. My answer is the Leafs set themselves up perfectly. Most contracts they sign, sans Calle Yarncroke, are not longer than 2 years. Why? Because they want to make sure they have maximum cap flexibility for when Matthews comes up, so they can sign him to the big ticket number that we all know he's going to get, probably around $15 million. So I think the Leafs set themselves in the perfect realm to back up the Brinks truck, so to speak, and get that deal done. So, this team has a good chance to make some noise this year, postseason and regular season. I agree with you, Kevin. I'll let Dylan answer on the Matthews front right quick.
The Matthews front?
He's in.
Honestly, he's not going anywhere. Like, why would you go and play in a college barn for,
everybody's saying he's going to LA or New York.
Your family might be close to Arizona, but he makes enough freaking dough to fly him on a private jet almost every single day of the year. So he has no stress about that.
No, he can dip out and go whenever he wants.
And we've talked with people on here about that situation, and it was the comment that all Matthews has to do is something about his funds going to the US and he keeps most of his money.
Yeah, that's what David
doesn't get taxed. Yeah. So there's loopholes, and it's probably been going on for a long time in the NHL. Like, they get paid in US money. It's not Canadian money.
Yeah.
They are getting taxed on it, but he can transfer those funds over to an American bank account because he is a US citizenship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's 87%, so he loses 13%.
It's nothing to be stressed about. Like, David's playing up here for a reason. Matthews is not going anywhere. We probably will back up the Brinks truck, and the Toronto media is gonna all talk about how Matthews is the highest paid athlete in all of hockey. So yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. If you got a couple questions, jump through here. Give me 1 sec. We'll scroll. Jason Barnes. Do you think Austin Matthews will resign? That's what we're just talking about. I'm saying probably in the $15 million range. The Leafs left themselves all the room in the world 2 years from now to be able to back up that truck and get done. Ezio, thanks for the follow, man. I know you're a Habs fan. There's nothing wrong with being a Habs fan. You root for your team. You cheer for your team. We are a different brand of Leaf fan. We have the jokes and the jabs and the fun, but we're not hateful bashers or anything like that. So appreciate the dialogue. I appreciate the fact you hope that we keep Matthews. I hope that we do too, because if you guys land a guy like Connor Bedard, we're going to need a weapon to go up against your weapon. So looking forward to what the Habs might be able to pull off. It may be a long, painful season for Habs fans, but there's some young, awesome talent on the horizon for the Habs fans too. So I can't wait to see that. Kevin, we'll talk draft afterwards, my friend. The draft is supposed to be at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll see what goes on. By the way, guys, there's 16 of us, who's ever in this chat. There's 16 TikTokers going head-to-head all season long in an ESPN fantasy draft. The draft goes live this Sunday night. As long as I'm not blown away by this hurricane, that's the only thing I'm worried about.
Oh man, I have two at the same time. Thank God they're in different apps. So I might be very, very busy, but I'll try and keep everybody entertained. Johnny asked a question a bit ago. Thoughts on Robertson at prospect tournament?
Yeah, John, sorry about that, my friend. I wanted to answer that question.
Go ahead.
Go right ahead. Yeah, go ask about Robertson. I got an interesting little tidbit here about our Robertson coverage at prospect camp.
Seeing Robertson comment that he put on weight, I made a TikTok about it. I'm pretty amped about it. I'm pretty amped about it, man. Like knowing that knowing that second line left wing position was open, and he's like, I'm putting on weight so that I can go into those dirty corners if need be on that second line. He's coming in here like Bunting was last year. He's coming in and trying to prove that he deserves to be the player he was sought after to be. I had a comment today saying that he's Nail Yakupov, but and then I said, well, he's not a number one overall draft pick. And then they're like, oh, so like comparing draft picks to draft picks is the only thing that you're capable of doing. I'm like, no, like there's not that high expectation that Nail had, and the expectation that Robertson had is just not the same at all. He made a comment saying like you can't judge Matthews to Draisaitl because they're 1 and 3. It's like they're top players in the NHL. Everybody's going to get compared to just because I said it was he was the number one draft pick and Robertson wasn't. Robertson was in the second round. First of all, his expectations are not as high as the number one overall pick. That's all I got to say.
No, definitely. Well, we got a little bit of a rub from another podcast. I want to shout out Josh and Salamio, basically over on the Battleborn Leafs podcast. Use the quote that I had on for the prospect tournament and we'll answer more questions, guys, by the way. Not ignoring anyone, but want to get this one out here. Josh from over at Battleborn Leafs Talk had us in the podcast actually and pulled my tweet and said, I had mentioned the fact that Robertson needed to look out of place at the prospect tournament, but in a good way. Mm-hmm. He needed to look out of place because you want him to be leaps and bounds about other people, and you want him to look like he doesn't fit there because you want him to be ready for NHL camp. And, that's one of the things where I was looking for Robertson to do different things. Now, there was still mistakes. It's still rusty hockey, all that different stuff. But one thing you cannot mistake, folks, 28 points in 28 games in the AHL, not too shabby. Point per game AHL guys don't grow on trees. And now I know, yes, the AHL and the NHL don't always correlate. I get it. But Robertson got thicker, did what he needed to do. He was told the things he needed to do. He went and did them. And that's why Sheldon Keefe today said Robertson is going to hit the ground running. He's already got his engine humming. He's going to come in. He wants a chance. There's 2 spots right now. Engvall's is open, and so is the second line spot where Mikheyev used to rock. So Robertson has an opportunity. Here's the thing with him. We've had many scouts come on this show and tell us they see Robertson, if he gets the opportunity, as a 25 to 30 goal scorer. And people are like, oh, pie in the sky. Why is it pie in the sky? Why? If he's putting point per game up in the AHL, lit up the OHL, this guy has a chance to come in and make some noise. Here's what a lot of people forget. Robertson has been plagued by a few injuries, freak ones, by the way, not your run-of-the-mill hip or knee, broken legs, broken bones, okay? Those things, they heal. Nagging hips, nagging knees are a little different. And also, the whole COVID thing really ruined his end of his junior career, really ruined all the different things that he was going to get to do to bring his development along, okay? So we have to remember those things. But I think Nick Robertson's going to be fine. And I'm looking forward to Nick Robertson silencing some of the haters this year and doing some fun things. Yeah. Let's roll through a couple more questions here and then get on our way.
I just want to make one point. You say 25 goal range. If he comes in and does exactly what Bunting did last season, perfect. 23 goals, 40 assists for 63 points. I could see it happening.
Do you think Murray will be good enough to finally break the first round curse? I do, actually. The Leafs, and I keep preaching this because not a lot of people see this, but go check out the article up on OffsideHockeyTalk.com. The Leafs were a 900 goaltending team. Of the 16 teams that qualified for the playoffs, the Leafs were second last in save percentage. There were teams that finished outside of the playoffs with higher save percentages than the Toronto Maple Leafs. So if Matt Murray can come in and be better than a 900 goalie along with Ilya Samsonov, which we expect them to be, the Leafs are definitely going to be better in that category. Oh, and by the way, they had 115 freaking points last year. They weren't a bad team with a 900 goaltender. So if they get a few more timely saves in the playoffs, I'm all for it. Their bottom six, they short up to. So I'm looking forward to seeing what can happen there. The Leafs need to win a few rounds. Yes, they do.
I've honestly said this a couple times now. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast, but Dubas took the risk on Murray at the most not most ideal time, but he's taking a risk on Murray. He also took a risk on Samsonov. Now he's trying to swing twice, but I think if he misses on one, he's going to hit on the next one. He has reinforced the risk that he took on the one with the other, and I truly think that's actually the smartest way, around this. I don't think Källgren could have backed up Murray here in this situation. I truly think that what he did here in the goaltending aspect was perfect.
Nope, I agree with you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, listen, it's been fun getting into this. Finally, we got Leafs camp opening up. We'll do a few of these throughout camp, I think, Dilly. Why not? 15, 25-minute rants. Just sit down and talk about what we learned from the day. But yeah, the podcast will be up with David Dwork. He covers the Florida Panthers, has some great things to say about the Leafs as well. That'll be up and rolling tonight. We will have our first Leafs Weekender segment on Sunday. As long as I'm not blown away and I have power, we'll be ready to rock and roll. So, guys, appreciate 92 more good. Yes. All right. So, anyways, we're going to shut this down. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Dilly, thanks so much, my buddy. This is Offside Hockey Talk, man. Where the Leafs and the NHL come to talk. Bye.